I'm on. Hi.
Hello，终于可以打班了，Yes！
为了这个，
开心啊！你不懂
原来
我
是为了
的开心。
这个。
还能做什么？我们在等他们是吗？
你如果要看那个进来的问题的话，你可以开 Facebook， 但是那个声音要关掉咯。
嗯，你
不然
link 给 Facebook 了吗？已经在 Facebook 了吗？你可以带我吗？
我自己的 account。
你的 account 像我 share。
嗯
你有 tag 我？诶，你的麦很小声，我的麦够大声吗？
哼，我拉上去就听不到了。
啊，start 了诶。
OK， 我 invite 你了。
好，我看到了。 This video has no sound. 哦，有。刚才我的那个跟我讲这个 video got no sound。好好。那 Facebook 有点 lag 的嘞，我们已经做完要做的东西，然后 Facebook 还在那边蹲着几秒。
好，它会有10秒钟的那个 delay 的，所以就不需要讲太快哦，不然它会一直好像蒙蒙这样子。OK。因为你看得到那个整个那个 StreamYard 嘛，对吧？
可以 ，OK 啊。
OK 哦。
对，我们的2个 guest。
我们多10分钟咯，现在是45分。
嗯。
这个是 free version 的咯，每个月就是maximum 20个小时，可以 live stream。
Cute， 这样可以拿来唱歌。那天我 try to 拿来唱歌是不可以的。是不可以的。
不能用呗？
唱歌是不可以的，因为它没有讲，它不是很好听。可以这样子讲，不是很好听。
background 是吧？
不是很好听，但是还好。是我的灯光的问题吗？可以了。
因为我直接坐窗旁边，比较亮一点。
Natural light 是最好的 light， 其实。
我房间就太暗了。
哦，你在 office 啊？你的
没有啊，我的书房啊。
厨房啊？
我们的书房，我们有一个 corner 就放书的。
厨房。
OK。
你有朋友 share 吗？
无所谓啊，要就看咯。他看得到下面有几个人进来了吗？那个 Facebook 那边。
2个人，就是我们2个人在看。
对，上面那个。提早开，然后等人家进来咯。
casual 啊，我们 casual 啊。没有东西做啊，人家吃完 lunch 也是没有东西做啊。有3个人在看的，4个人。
Everybody is very free。
吃完饭了就这样了咯。不是看 drama 就是不在做么啊？可以 comment 给我们知道你们在做什么吗？这 MCO
Everybody is free. Everybody is going live.
Yeah. Can tell us what have you been doing for the past how many days? 11 days of MCO. Surviving. Still surviving. We all thought until Tuesday. Then they extended. So how are you guys keeping up? If you guys are okay, let us know. If you guys have any question, can comment.
Oh.哎，你看得到我在这个 screen 做什么的吗？
看得到。
那个
你后面
setting 啊，
的那个 flag 啊，还在那边 Q 啊 Q 啊。
我老爸放了，不懂是干嘛。
对啦，塞耳朵，丑还是不丑？塞耳朵。
Play a sound when guest enter. OK。
很暗，突然。
哦，我瞧我的 definition。
不用瞧啊 ，OK 啊。
原本那个是480，这个是720，
会比较好看哦。
比较轻一点哦。
So if you guys have anything that you guys want to talk about today with our professionals, you guys can like
my notes.
write down your questions. Peter is pumped.
My talking points.
我不是有 start 那个 Don't Watch Hair Challenge。
有人 join 你吗？
有，你看我头发。
Okay. Now
Don't watch
everyone knows.
It's okay. Nobody can smell my hair. Still good hair day. Yeah.
Five more minutes. Okay lah.
Okay.
Everything is going. Setting is fine.
Hi, Joshua. Hello. Joshua. Your show damn good, huh? When you gonna ask me to come on your show, huh? I've been 不要脸。
你可以自己做的嘛，然后邀请他的嘛。
不要，我就是要伤他的。Joshua, how are you holding up, Joshua?
Joshua commenting.
Sure. Waiting for you to hire me on board. I tell you, these few days I'm going insane already. It's so boring. Other than reading the news, watch my drama, do some reading, I don't know what else to do. That's why I chill Peter lah. Hey, where got atas? Don't simply we all like that only, Joshua. Cannot like that only. We like that only.
Okay. Joshua leaving comment? Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah. Hey, Joshua, you have any question you want to know about COVID-19? Or like you have any question for our professionals, can leave your comment 给。谁的 reaction 来的？是你的 reaction 吗？ Thank you for supporting, Joshua.
Okay, just now I have a friend asking what kind of app we're using. Is it? Yeah.
Oh, StreamYard. It's not
Yeah,
really an
so
app lah. It's not really an app. It's more of an online platform lah, where you use it to stream.
so to anyone that haven't used it yet, you can try it out. If you're using Zoom, that one is for group meeting. Then StreamYard you can have. For us, because we're cheapskates, we're using the free version. You can have up to 6 people at the same time, and you can stream it to everyone of the channel that you choose, either your Facebook page, your personal Facebook account, or you're using YouTube or LinkedIn or so on and so forth. So you can you can actually do the same thing like what you see on TV, where they have multiple screens and they pretend like they're talking about serious business. You know.
Maybe Peter, you wanna tell our viewers, who are we having on the show today lah? Consider show. We have 2 guests today.
We haven't started what, so we keep them waiting.
Okay, then waiting first Hey, Joshua got question, do you know? It's like 3-layer mask sufficient. And have you heard of the handmade mask? Are they too sufficient? Okay, actually, Joshua, this is all on our point of view, our personal point of view. Even for our professionals also, is their point of view. So for me, I feel 3-layer mask should be sufficient enough, because there are also like waterproof masks, so that when you cough, your bacteria don't go out, and when people cough, the bacteria don't come in. So for me, 3-layer mask is sufficient already. Unless you want to go more extreme, N95. That one, like the whole thing one. If really cannot, then maybe have to get like the mask, the whole full face mask. But I feel okay lah, no need to go too extreme yet lah.
The extreme one is the one by 3M, you know?
Yeah. Free for how long? Joshua asking free for how long? Free for how long? I think it's free.
StreamYard, you can, if you're using the free version, you are allocated about 20 hours of live stream every month. If you're exceeding that quota, then you have to upgrade lah. Means you have to pay lah.
我们的 Facebook hang 住了。
hang 嘛。
Okay.
Delay. Okay, let me see if the guests are in.
Joshua, what app are you using? Because I saw that you can put your own branding, put your own logo and all that. Then how many screens can you have? Okay. I think it's good, right? The one that you've been using. I think it should be quite good. Because I see that, everything is quite nice. You can put your logo and stuff like that. It should be quite nice. Hello, Sook, Ning.
Yeah, that's
Hello.
Dr. Chua.
Hi, doctor.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
very
clearly.
clearly.
Perfect. Okay, good. Once in a while, sometimes at my place there'll be buses passing by. So just to let you know, you might
It's okay,
hear
no
a loud
problem.
bus. Okay.
I haven't heard the sound of a bus for a very long time already. For 11 days. In fact, I never knew that I would
For
miss
11
it.
days, yeah. Now everything has changed, yeah. So what would this actually look like?
This. Do you have Facebook? I think you do.
Yeah.
Are you friends with Peter on Facebook?
No.
Oh. Okay. Let me share you a link here. Peter, 我觉得你的这个 Peter is live 那要开 public your post your video.
I thought I set it
no.
as public already.
No.
Oh, okay. Sure, I'll make it public.
And then you share the link to doctor.
Right. Share to doctor.
So we will have a lot of people commenting on Facebook, I hope. So they can have their questions and then we can read it out to you lah. Then you can answer as well.
Usually are there like a lot of questions?
I hope a fair amount of question lah. No question will be very dry.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let's give it a shot then.
Okay. Let me see.
It's actually quite an impromptu thing that my friend Gwen here suggested. So we were asking around of who among our friends who can chip in their 2 cents on their, the current situations.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other day I was asking if Alvin can make it. Then he seems to be busy today. So he suggested Dr. Chua.
Yes, Alvin is often busy. Often busy today, yes.
Good, Joshua. Continue asking. I like it.
So we're
once
live now,
yeah, we are very, very live.
Oh, very, very live. All right.
Yeah, very.
I'll be on my best behavior then.
Don't need to worry.
Okay, our other guest, Terrence, is here.
Okay, cool. Let me just share.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. Gwen.
Hey, Terrence, it's a bit dark at your side.
Yeah. Must be the lighting.
Oh, okay.
Let me see what I can
It's okay.
do.
We can still see you.
Yeah, that's the most important part.
I like this setting. It looks so much nicer. Okay.
So this is what they are doing. The same thing that they do with TV stations as well. Those news interviews, that you see every day.
Okay.
Right. So all of us are here now. We can start for real.
Okay, cool. So, hi guys. Today is gonna be very casual. We're gonna talk about the impact of Corona. So for those who are watching, if you guys like what we're talking about, you guys can share it out to share with your friends. And then if you guys have any question at all, you guys can comment in the comment section. And if the response is good, we'll continue doing it because we have like so many days more to go. So I am one of the hosts for today, and my partner is Peter. So Peter.
Hi, yes, thank you, Gwen. So it's actually a very casual session where Gwen casually asked if we want to do a session to have conversation about the current pandemic that we're facing, and maybe that would give a little glimpse or share our thoughts with everyone here. And before we begin, I would like to introduce to our fellow, so to say, audience. That feels weird to say that. Yes, our audience. First, we have Dr. Chua, Dr. Chua Sook Ning. Please wave your hand. Yes.
Hello. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for being with us of this casual session. So Dr. Chua here is a practicing clinical psychologist, and she's also currently a lecturer at the National Institute of Education at Nanyang Technological University of Singapore. And she also happens to be a founder of Relate Malaysia, an NGO that advocates on public awareness of mental health. All right, that's the first guest of ours. The second guest of ours is Mr. Terrence. Hi, please wave your hand, Mr. Terrence. Thank you. So Mr. Terrence here is a NLP practitioner. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
And he also happens to be a corporate trainer that trains sales professionals and leaders from corporate world on how to communicate effectively and achieve success in business. All right, that's the introduction of both of our guests today.
Correct. So
And before
today,
we begin, yeah, you can go ahead.
Sorry. No, so today we're going to talk about our point of view for this whole situation. So there's no right or wrong answers, and everyone can just freely share your point of views. So everyone, we can see that our live stream is actually going on. So there will be questions. So I have one question from Joshua that I'd like to ask both our guests first. Like he said that there are three layer masks sufficient. He asked if it's sufficient, and have you heard of handmade masks, and are they too sufficient? What do you think? Let's ask Dr. Chua first.
Sorry, sufficient as in, is there enough supply of them, or sufficient for?
I think what he's asking is it sufficient to block the germs?
It's sufficient, the viruses. So generally, they're if you're just a regular person, not in healthcare, not frontliner, not going to be constantly exposed to the virus, they're going to, especially in Malaysia and in certain countries, they're going to advise you to wear a surgical mask. In the US, Australia, they've advised you to make your own mask, so like cloth mask. Obviously, it's not going to protect you from the virus, but it will actually protect other people if you're infected and if you sneeze or you cough from the droplets that come out of you. So it's more of like if everyone kind of plays their part, it's just an additional layer of protection. And a study in China actually showed that it was helpful. If you're not, again, if we're not talking about you're a healthcare professional, you're just a regular Joe on the street, rather than coughing into the air, sneezing into the air, and thus risking infecting others, you keep all your virus to yourself, all your droplets to yourself. Yeah.
Okay, Terrence?
I think I concur with Dr. Chua. Basically, it doesn't exactly, if you are handmade, it doesn't function the same as a proper 3-layer surgical mask. But what happens is that it's just an additional layer of protection if there are any droplets and things like that. I've also seen people that actually wear that on top of their surgical mask. They believe it's a double layer protection or keep the surgical mask longer lasting. At least that's what they believe.
Okay. Peter?
You mean my take on this? Well, psychologically, it's very assuring. You have some sort of protection. And because it kind of gives you a feeling that you are in at least some sort of control over the situation. It feels to me more like that, other than just being hygienic or what. All the little things that you're trying to do that gives you a sense of control in the chaotic situation that we're in now.
Correct.
That's how I see it.
Cool. But for me, I feel...
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you continue first. I thought you stopped already. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I can put in some flow or share about the flow that we have in mind. So first thing, we're going to start with Dr. Chua first. About her opinion or takes based on her area of expertise on the current situation. And then we'll move on to Terrence. And then again, we'll go on around the same flow of his take on the current situation and all that. And in between, Gwen will help me to take on questions if any of our friends have inquiries or they need more, information. Yes. So let's start with Dr. Chua. So the first thing I would like to ask is, how do you feel when, from the very beginning until now, how do you feel about the whole situation? Like how the impact in general?
The impact on society or the impact on myself?
How do you feel about it? Yeah.
How do I feel about it? I think it is quite an anxiety-provoking time for everyone, and everyone is struggling to make sense of it, or the guidelines seem to be changing. So my general take is difficult. It's difficult even if everyone around you is safe. It's difficult just because your familiar routines have changed a lot, and you're never sure what's going to happen next. And then, of course, it's even extra difficult if someone you know, someone you love is ill, or someone you love has passed away from the virus. So I think everyone is struggling together in a community.
Correct. Because I see the deaths are increasing. So meaning it's quite bad, actually. And then it actually takes 14 days for people to know whether they are infected or not. And even before MCO already got a lot of people infected. So the numbers are just increasing rapidly. So quite scary.
Yeah, I would say it's good to follow best practices, maybe as in the general consensus. I mean, if you're kind of struggling with my community leaders giving contradictory advice to WHO or the recognized authorities, then best to go with the recognized authorities and what they're recommending. And we know that, just physical distancing does seem to help. Everyone is vulnerable to being infected. Some people will show more symptoms than others, and some people will be more severely affected. But, again, we're sort of a community approach that everyone is playing a part.
Because if I'm not mistaken, even during 2003, when the SARS is the focus, we are not experiencing something of this scale, isn't it?
Yeah, SARS wasn't as infectious. I mean, it's considered to be more, I guess, a higher mortality rate, but the infectiousness of this just means more people are affected, and more people who are vulnerable will be affected. So you will see, the corresponding mortality, and life just, the whole society is then I think struggling with it.
And for that, the last, so to speak, worldwide scale of pandemic is approximately about 100 years ago, isn't it? So for most of us who's not that elder, we can hardly imagine how is it So, how do you see like the impact for most people's mental state of health?
Oh, I will make a general statement. Everyone will be negatively affected. I think some people will be less negatively affected than others if you're quite used to maybe already working from home and you have a lot of family support. In other situations, I think things might be more difficult if your lifestyle had involved a lot of social interaction, and a certain routine that you take comfort in. So I imagine that, past sort of studies have shown in terms of isolation or any sort of infectious disease that depression will go up, PTSD, anxiety. Everyone, I think, will suffer, and it's just a matter of like maybe resiliency, and whether you can recover from it or how soon you recover from it. But the faster I think we come together and unite as a community, and the faster then that we learn how to cope in this will be our new normal for a while, and just learning how to make adjustments and try to establish a new routine will be really helpful.
Adapting to new normal and building our new routine. I like that actually, but it's a sensible question to ask, because for most people it's very hard to see where the end is going to be to all this chaos. So if you can't really see the analogy, the light at the end of the tunnel, how are you supposed to be like really calm and resilient about it?
If you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, then you have to, and I will say this, not to be flippant and to be insensitive, but almost factually understanding that it's very, very difficult to do this, then you just have to get used to the tunnel. Like for now, right? This is you can't see the light. If you keep expecting, and I think you keep anticipating, is it going to be it? Is this going to be it? It just makes it much harder. Kind of accepting that this is it for maybe the next foreseeable future, the next month, the next 2 months, the next 3 months, and go, what could my life look like? What's the best case scenario in this current situation? So you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, then you have to adjust to the tunnel.
And trying to find a new way of life in this situation.
Yeah, best as you can. Yeah, and it's difficult, and so I think that's why hearing from one another and social support is crucial. So that you don't feel like you're alone in this, and you can learn from how other people are adjusting, and you can support one another in the very, sort of the struggle of adjustment.
Very good. I like that. And talking about new normal, I would like to shift the question over to Terrence.
Yes, Peter.
So for Terrence, okay, let's wait.
So you'll be.
I think Terrence, just go ahead and say what you want to say lah.
Yeah, correct.
So to add on to what Dr. Chua has mentioned, I think what happens is that we are seeing people going through a phase. You see, usually where there is a new phenomenon like what Peter has just said, right? A pandemic at this scale, the last round we had it is probably 100 years ago. So the general population is in a state of denial at the beginning. Therefore, you can see their behavior. They are not following orders. They are not taking it seriously. So I would say there is there is a phase of change, right? At the beginning, usually people are in denial. It's not happening. It's not that serious. They are just over preparing, right? But I'm not going to do that. Then they go through a phase of blaming. It is those people that did it, those people that caused it. Although it doesn't actually brings anything to the table, why does it matter who is the cause, right? And then they will go through a phase where there is so much anger because the whole MCO is rather sudden, the announcement. So a lot of businesses, for example, like currently I'm actually a partner in an event company as well. It's very sudden, the announcement. So businesses have to adapt. For Dr. Chua, I believe as a lecturer, suddenly you have to adapt to online learning or assessments. So it's very sudden. There is a lot of anger, there is a lot of confusion. And I hope right now is probably towards the end of the 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks, people are starting to accept that this is the new norm. People are starting to accept that this thing is serious. The outbreak is there in Europe and stuff like that. So people are really trying to adapt. They are no longer in denial. Businesses know that without sufficient cash flow, they can't survive that long. Employees are worried, the man on the street, things like that. So people are moving towards acceptance and they are trying to adapt. So we will see in the coming weeks and months, I assume that there will be better behavior, better cooperation from people as they have gone through the first few weeks.
Mm-hmm. And to be honest, the situation here is not really that panicking. I haven't seen folks fighting for toiletries. That's a good sign. So far, I haven't seen, just that the groceries might be a little bit hard to get. But so far, I haven't seen people punching each other to get toiletries, which is a good sign.
Yet to see the video.
I went to the supermarket yesterday. Well prepared, masks, everything. A lot of the aisles were empty already. Especially frozen food, canned food, rice, bread. Bread is the worst. I went there first. Okay, I went to the aisle first. Like bread, yay! I went there, empty. It's like totally. You cannot find any loaf of bread at all. What's left is like some muffins, squiggles, twiggies. You know, those small bread. So I think when it comes to things like survival of the fittest, people tend to want to go and get everything first. I don't care I eat or not. I just want to get it anyway. I think in our minds and psychologically speaking, maybe Dr. Chua can tell me a little bit about this. Like, everyone buying bread, okay, I must buy bread. Everyone buying canned food, okay, I must buy canned food. Everyone buying rice, I also must buy rice. That vegetable, a lot of people buy, I also want to buy. I think it's
I think that triggers the survival mode of most of us,
I think so. What do you think, Dr. Chua?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be left out in the cold, right? So it does trigger I think this would trivial, it's more serious than this, but it's a little bit of like FOMO, right? Like, do other people know something I don't? If I don't act now while everyone is acting out, I will be left out. And it speaks to our innate kind of group instinct, right? You don't want to be the last in the group, and the safety in numbers. So if everybody heads that direction, it's best, it kind of just triggers something in as I go, oh, okay, I better go along with it.
Do you think this is FOMO, fear of missing out? It's a new trend nowadays. People hashtag FOMO. Do you think it is FOMO?
It's FOMO, but it's a little bit, I think, deeper than it is. FOMO is not necessarily survival based. FOMO, I think, is a little bit more interpersonal, group based.
Social
and this
participation.
This would be some of that, but also the real fear of existential threat to my life. So I think it's deeper than FOMO. Yeah.
Cool.
And recently, I've read about those that are with their couples, staying with their couples, start to feeling the friction. Yeah, whether they are married or not. And they are trying to figure out ways to not hate each other while staying together. How do you see that?
Sorry?
How do you see that? Like the frictions that because people are staying together with their spouse 24/7.
Yeah. New adjustment. I think it's inevitable. On how you have to renegotiate everything, right? I think as much as you can love one another and really want to be there for one another, everyone, if you're stuck in close quarters for too long, it does get on your nerves. But we see that it is adjustable if you think about like military or the armed forces, anyone on a submarine. It takes a while though, and I think you have to go into the mindset ready to negotiate and ready to adjust to one another and make compromises, even if it means like, okay, let's compromise on we would have our own space, right? Or we'll compromise on when we would do things together. We'll compromise on when I need a timeout. So it's a readjustment to one another. And conflict is difficult, but conflict when successfully resolved, can bring people closer together.
Gwen is actually staying with her other one. So how are you? How are you going through that so far?
Survivable lah, survivable.
So do you start to hate your man?
We stayed together for 4 years already. We're going to get married soon, this year actually. So it's kind of, I don't know how to say it. It's like we are still adapting to each other because I don't see him in the day. Like right now, he's not here. He's actually working. So I still have my own time to do my stuff lah. But for the first few days of MCO, yes, I see him 24/7 lah. And then you tend to pick certain things of your partner that you don't really like, even though you stayed with him for a while. Like, hey, why you throw your shirt there? You already say ma got a laundry bag. Why you never throw in your laundry bag? Hey, why you do this? Hey, why you do that? You tend to be a bit, I don't know, is it ladies we tend to pick on everything the guy wants to do. Okay, maybe I ask Terrence as a guy, if you're staying with your spouse, your spouse tend to pick on you, how would you feel from a guy's point of view?
I think that the more interaction that we have with another human being, the more chances for friction there is. I think once we are in a relationship for quite some time, we have a certain understanding. We have to put our relationship first. I believe that there should be a one-on-one talk at some point in our relationship. And the best thing about this MCO is that, all this while we have been so busy with our work and our entertainment, we actually have all these personal problems, but we are hiding it under the mat. And during this time where everyone has no other commitments, we are forced to face it. So after years of having differing values, differing ideas on how to do things, but never have the chance to actually bump into each other and to have that friction, now we have it. I think it's and congratulations, Grant.
Thank you.
Your upcoming big day.
I hope you don't get affected.
It's like 4 weeks of practice. 4 weeks of practice for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah, it's a good practice. Then, so for Terrence, the question, the add-on question would be, how do couples actually, like Dr. Chua said, you need to set down ground rules, and you need to renegotiate how you guys actually, are trying to make it through. But under such circumstances, how do you actually calm down and trying to even communicate with your spouse or your other half?
I think, thank you, Peter, for the question. I think it's the same with how you deal with your team members and colleagues in your office or any form of teams or clubs, right? Usually what we are dealing with is this interpersonal friction. So way before this happened, there must be a sit down where we gather and we establish the ground rules. And there must be someone who enforces it. If someone is not following it, the other person should always take note and enforce the ground rules so that it's being obeyed, right? For example, ground rules could be that we all understand that when our emotions run high, our intelligence run low. We might say a lot of things that we don't really mean it, right? So one of the key things is that whenever someone is agitated or frustrated, the other person must be the listener. There cannot be two very dominant characteristics at the same moment. So this should be some of the rules that we go through and we establish and we abide by. So the very reason why we abide by these ground rules is because we put our relationship first. The very moment you don't follow this, despite knowing this, despite being reminded by your partner, it just shows how much you care about this relationship. I think in many ways, rules are established as, how do you put this? Many of these things have to be established way earlier. You cannot to wait until the situation occurs and then suddenly you want to propose. How about we have a ground rule now? It doesn't quite work that way.
Because this is a sudden impact. So, like you said, it would be definitely difficult for everyone to deal with their own emotional, turmoil, and at the same time trying to figure out how to work it out with their spouse.
Yes.
All right. I have a question from a friend, PM. My friend PM me. Because I myself, we are the same. We are socially out there. We are very loud. So her question is, she's going crazy. So she wants to ask Dr. Chua, like, is there anything that she can do to not go crazy?
To not go crazy. I can't promise you won't go crazy. You might feel like you're going crazy. I'll treat you. I think it's sort of easiest if we use you as an example. When you said loud and out there, what do you actually mean by that?
Extrovert. We always social. We go out to socialize. We meet people, networking. We are always out there. We are never in here. We would rather go out than stay here. So she's going crazy. And for people who do sales in the corporate line as well, I think Terrence will feel us. If we do sales, we also go out. We also network with people. So now having to stay at home, I think we are going crazy without being able to socialize, like go out and actually socialize. I myself told Peter that I'm actually going crazy as well because I want to go out. I haven't yesterday
to be physically out there.
Yeah. Yesterday I was really happy to go and get groceries because I get like 1 hour outside. I just wanted to go out, so I just wanted to get groceries. I feel happy even it's just 1 hour. So my friend is asking like, she's going crazy, and even though she goes out to get groceries, she feels reluctant to go home, but she must go home. So how does she stay sane at home? Cute question.
It's a little bit of like this is like a bunker, right? Like in wartime, and then you can't really go out. Like sometimes you have those moments of break, and it does feel like probably a prison. So how do you stay sane in prison?
Stay sane.
Maybe I can add in a little bit as an introvert, an opposite from Gwen. Because I'm the kind that I can go out for days, and then but I definitely need to stay at home to recharge. So that's a different pole. But important thing I believe is
sorry.
It's okay, doctor. We lost you for a bit.
No.
Oh, okay.
Weak connection.
Would you like to continue?
Sure. So it's understanding like this is your ideal is to go out and be out there, and then you think about what elements of those activities that you enjoy. So obviously you can't have all the elements. So maybe part of going out is being physically out there. That's one. Another part is the social connection, meeting new people, doing shared interests. And so you think about what, after you take away the physical aspect of it, are there other aspects of the activity that you can still have in your circumstances? So you know what I mean? It's like adapting it and then sort of maximizing all your favorite elements in a new situation. So maybe it's networking, new people. Online, got a lot of new people, and maybe you got to join different interest groups, go chat with people, and at least for that, understandably, it is going to feel different. It's not going to be the same, but as much as possible, you maintain that. And it's like texting isn't the same, so go and maybe you have to video call friends or. I just read an article on BBC about how people are clubbing online, so that you're
clubbing online.
Wow.
Yeah, in this situation, in a way, fortunately, you're not the only person going crazy. I think there are many other extroverts who are also going crazy, and other people, extroverts, who are looking, how do we get through this time? So, you gather all of them together and figure out, hey, what could we do to maximize the activities we enjoy, even though it's indoors or it's in front of a computer, and the physicality of it. That does feel restrained, and so usually home-based exercises actually do help get rid of some of the energy. There's some of this energy aspect of more trap you feel. So exercising at home does help to release some of the pent-up physical energy of it. Trying to figure out what aspects of my favorite activity that I enjoy and how could it look like in this new situation, with the knowledge that other people are also going crazy. So instead of just going crazy alone, maybe support one another during this time. And it does require us, I think, to be creative and staying sane,
It's reassuring enough that I'm not alone going crazy.
I'm sure, yes.
I hope
That's
my
a-
friend heard your I think my friend, she said thanks. She
Terrence,
might say want to
what's something
comment. Yeah, Terrence?
I think a lot of people, because of the term social distancing, right?
Hmm.
We have mistaken social distancing with social disconnecting. In fact, because we feel so alone when we are at home, that's the reason why we should have more live streams. We should have more chat through our Zooms. I have friends that is actually still networking, but purely online. They are going to all their BNI, all their Toastmasters. They have meetings every single day, just to let the other side know that we are here for each other. So in a way that because of our technology, and we are leveraging on it, we have the opportunity to actually stay in touch. This, I think, is a great time for you to reach out to all your long lost friends, all your old teachers back in the school. This is the time to call them out, make plans. What's your plans after the MCO? Look out for people that you can build power teams in whatever businesses that you are doing. Yeah, reach out to your friends that you long lost. You never have a chance to talk to them for a long time. I just had a chat with two of my friends last night until about 2 a.m. because one of them have to take care of a kid. So yeah, but it's a great chat, because after 4-5 years, we know each other is there. We always have this hi, happy birthday once a year on Facebook, but we never get to chat. This is a great time to
Reconnect.
chat up and reconnect. Like what Gwen said, right? Reconnect. And since we can't go out, this is the time to go in, right? This is the time to do our journaling. This is the time to do our meditation. Yeah, there's a lot of things to do. Keep yourself busy and won't feel that alone.
So that's actually a good point. Like, if I may summarize a little bit of what both of you said, like Dr. Chua just now, she said, you need to stay a certain level of physical activity So stretching and home exercise is definitely essential to help you stay active and maybe release some of the frustration. Yeah. And at the same time, like what Terrence shared just now, you need to have your own plan to, make use of this period of time to have plans every day, to socialize with people, yeah, to stay active socially. That's one. And then the other is my favorite part is to actually have a plan on how are you going to, let's say, rebuild your life after MCO ends. That's equally essential, right?
Mm.
And to add on to that point of rebuilding life after MCO, this morning I was reading an article by the news that sharing by the Association of SME Malaysia. Yeah, the chairman was saying that quite many SMEs would probably having difficulty to keep their business running after the MCO ends. So how do you, for Terrence, how do you see the landscape would be after this for businesses in general?
Mm.
I think for Peter's question, right, businesses in general, what happens is that if you spend 4 weeks in your house and your business can't operate and you still have to pay your employees, right? People don't realize how much burden that is. If you think about SME, right, let's say your SME is, say you have 50 employees, right? Each one is about 2 to 3K salary. It means that you still have to fork out that amount of wages, although you are not in operation.
Without revenue.
A lot of business, without revenue. And so I guess a lot of people are actually they are panicking, they are having a headache. And social behavior can be changed in 4 weeks. When we condition ourselves to order everything online, when we condition ourselves to have meetings like this online, this kind of behavior will be brought forward, right? So I believe the landscape after MCO will witness a huge change in some of our behaviors.
Mm.
Of course, we will go back out, we will spend on entertainment and stuff like that after being staffed for 4 weeks, right?
Mm.
But and of course, yesterday we have this stimulus package, which a lot of layman is very happy. But I think it's important to be cautious, because whatever incentive or allowance or deduction that is being given can only last you only so long. If the SMEs cannot survive and sustain themselves, it doesn't matter whether you get 1,000 or you get 1,600. Probably in 2 or 3 months you won't even have a job. So why does it matter anyway? And that's why I say this is the time when you have 4 weeks at home, whether you are a business owner or whether you are an employee. This is the time to really think about your life, because your life is not going to be the same after MCO and the incoming recession as well, globally, perhaps. We all know that is going to happen some way or another. And if we don't take these 4 weeks to really brainstorm and think about our life, and we have to move quick. For some people, after these 4 weeks, when they go back to their work for the first or second month, they are going to lose their jobs. So if you are not prepared now, you are a bit too late already. And for a lot of business owners, now is the time that you need to think, how can I transition? And I need to transition fast, right? Is there any products or services that perhaps I can move online? I should go into e-commerce or drop shipping. And we have to move fast. Time is against us, right? So do not treat this as a holiday. Treat this as a preparation time that is being given.
I got a question, Terrence. Like e-commerce and people should go into e-commerce. But what if there is no spending power? Like people are preparing themselves for recession, so we should try to save money during these trying times. So even if we go into e-commerce or online, what if there's no spending power? We would also not make revenue, right?
Okay, it's a good question, right, Glenn? So it really depends on what type of product and services you are actually selling. And secondly, I think it's a misconception that Malaysian is running out of money. Yes, the B40, they're having a hard time. We should definitely look into their situation. But if you look at the middle class, they have the spending power. It's just a question that when we give cash straight away, it's like giving fishes to our rakyat, right? When we give them straight away, how would they utilize that cash? Do you really think that all of them are going to spend it like for essential stuff? In fact, we hear some people like, "Oh, I'm going to buy a new phone now," or things like that. Everyone has fancy plans, right? And after being starved for 4 weeks, human behavior-wise, don't tell me you're not going to spend on something. I think after the 4 weeks, if the situation improves, or maybe even if it doesn't improve, people are going to go out there. People want to shop. People want to have entertainment. People, if the cinemas are open, people want to watch movies. Because humans, right? I mean, one of the back then is that most people are consumers. Even when now they're sitting at home, thinking like, what can I buy? You know, like they go on Amazon, this look nice, that look nice. They look at courses, trainers offering, right? So their hands are itchy, right? Their hands are itchy. They want to spend on something. So after being starved for 4 weeks, they will going to go out for some sort of shopping spree. And secondly, your products and services, it really depends on how you package it. So we have this analogy of a painkiller or supplement, right? Supplement are basically things that is good for you, things like that. But people do not feel the urgency for it. If you look at right now on our Facebook or LinkedIn, you see a lot of businesses or even trainers, right? They are actually promoting causes like how you can make so and so amount of money during this lockdown. Why? That's the painkiller, right? Because they know that people are in pain. They are urgently need of cash, so they are capitalizing on it. So you, as a business, you really need to know how to package whatever you're offering. Yeah.
Okay, great. So because Dr. Chua needs to go already, so we'll let Dr. Chua do a closing first. So Dr. Chua, for this, you can do your POV closing.
Yeah, or do you have anything to plug in for your NGO?
Yeah.
My POV closing? Oh. Love one another. Yeah, I think we have to admit, we have to accept like it is going to be difficult, and part of keeping healthy is also keeping our minds healthy. So don't be ashamed of getting help, because the situation is so difficult. It's not your fault that you're struggling, you know. But really, I think having professional help, or just having a counselor, a psychologist listen and work through with you is going to help you weather the storm. And you know, good mental health helps you build a good immune system, which helps you fight off illnesses. So that's my go seek help. So, get the help that you need.
So you got that, everyone. Don't hesitate to get help.
You are not alone.
Not alone. Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much, Dr. Chua. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
We hope to speak to you soon.
Yes. Thanks. Take care.
Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Okay, now we have Terrence all to ourselves. So I have a question. Because you're a corporate trainer, so now that some corporate companies are actually, you know, they stop everything, they move everything online. So do you think, you know, how are companies taking this COVID thing? Like, is there an impact to the corporate companies? And do you think the standards of the workers in the company will drop? And do you think there's a long-term effect on this for the employees and the corporate companies?
I think it really depends on the industries. But I would say that every industry is affected in a way or another. For example, if you look at airlines, right? At first we heard, I think it's Malindo A, they have a 50% pay cut. And Malaysia Airlines, they told their staff to actually get, I think it's unpaid leave or something for a couple of months.
Correct.
Asia has yet to announce anything. But I think I read Tony Fernandez actually says that perhaps now is not the time for him to, focus on airlines. Maybe you want to move into logistics and stuff like that. So, many businesses are going to be closed, especially SMEs, which is the backbone of our economy, right? But many of them, I don't think they can survive, honestly. Like a portion of my clients are actually the hotels and resorts industry. So as you know, they are
very badly affected. Very badly affected.
Any events? Well, there is only like 3 options now, right?
Yeah.
Most events are like postponed until second half of the year, or they are cancelled. Or for certain things like maybe Expo, they say they might want to convert it to an online virtual experience.
Yeah.
I'm not a marketing guy. I'm not sure how they're going to do it. But this is what we are looking at. They will be cautious, and I heard that they are laying off some staff as well. Probably a couple of years already by now. And way before this pandemic, like in the hotels and the resorts industry, the economy isn't really great anyway. And they have competition from A, B, and B and things like that. So competitions comes from everywhere. And sometimes it's not just locally. Sometimes it could be new foreign entries that comes in. Sometimes it could be because of a new disruptive technology. So we are living in an era of transition. No one is quite sure what is the right thing to do, right? They are cautious on their spending, and they are trying to find their direction, just like many of us. And businesses, I think, whoever, like there is a saying, right? When everyone is digging for gold, you sell shovels, right? So there are people are going to benefit from this situation. Honestly, every time where there is a confusion, there is always someone who seems to have the answers.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very good sharing by Terrence. And other than SMEs, we cannot deny the fact that we also have large numbers or increasingly large numbers of, so to say, self-employed or freelancers. What's your take on that part?
Yeah, because our Peter is a freelancer himself. So what do you think?
Asking for my fellow freelancers, yeah.
Peter is very active on social media, although both of us have never really met face to face. I think we did have plans to meet on April, but I don't think that is happening anytime soon.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Who have thought? One thing I think I appreciate all these freelancers and everyone in the gig economy. A lot of people are going to transition into that, and to stand out in that pool of talents, you have to be active like Peter, right? You have to be seen. I think personal branding and content creation is going to be like really a priority. I can see that in this 2 weeks, there are a lot more new YouTube channels. There are a lot more people into TikToks. There are parents learning about Instagram. Adoption rate is sky high. I don't have the numbers, but it's definitely up there, right? If we don't put our work out, it doesn't matter how good is your work, right? First, people have to know who you are first. So personal branding definitely is a thing that freelancers need to think about. Because whatever that you are offering at whatever rate that you are offering, hundreds of other people are offering too. And hundreds of people not hundreds, probably thousands of people that are coming to become unemployed, they are going to become freelancers as well.
Competing at the same
Like I myself, I do part-time emceeing lah, freelance emceeing, same like Peter. So for events that are cancelled during this whole time, I think events have been cancelled since January because people are afraid generally that okay, we got a virus going on, ladies and gentlemen, the virus is coming, we should just cancel all the events that we have. I think I saw lots of posts from our fellow friends who are also MCs. Like, I think one of them lost more than 30,000 in 2 months. That's quite a huge number just from MCing jobs, and suddenly MCO. So I think the impact on them is quite hard lah. So I'm not sure how people are, not only them, like how people gonna make ends meet lor, since recession is also coming. So
It's already happening.
already lor, I can see some hits lah. But Malaysia, we never really suffer too much of a recession because I think it happened a long time ago as well. Our parents had to also go through recession, and then now it's our turn to go through recession. So what is your take on youngsters going through recession during these times? I think it's important because I know youngsters don't save money. We rather spend our money to make ourselves look good on social media than save money for a rainy day. So what is your take, Terrence?
I agree with Gwen. I think, like I'm saying, right? We are in such a we have a habit of consumerism. So it's not even a question whether we are rich or not. People are just going to spend. People are just going to shop. And if we look at the statistics, I think bankruptcy among the youth is getting more critical the past few years. And this is going to, again, right, whenever there is a crisis or there is a recession, it actually reveals our underlying problems. When times are good, right, everyone looks like a genius, right? Like, you can wear branded items, you can business is good, stock is going up, whatever you buy. Everyone looks good, everyone talks good. But when a recession hits, it reveals who are the people with the real holding power. Nowadays, for businesses and individuals, it's all about holding power. If you cannot hold on and survive for the next 1 or 2 years, then that's it. You are the one that is being wiped out. And right now, it's in the largest wealth transfer, one of the larger one that we have in our lifetime. So I think a lot of people are going to call it, and a lot of youth are going to learn their lessons. And they will be the hard way, of course.
I think a lot of people are gonna feel the heat, as in heat. I know a few people like they always they like when you talk about fashion, when you talk about lavish stuff or luxury branded items, they just like, oh, okay lor. Then I think they are the ones who are gonna survive the recession. They'll be like, oh, okay, I tell you to save already, ma, you didn't save what? That kind of thing. So they are gonna be the winners lah. And for corporate-wise, big companies, I don't think they will suffer that much because they are a corporate company anyway. It's just mostly, I think, retrenchment on staffs, or either ask the staffs to take VSS, voluntary separation scheme. What do you think, Terrence?
I think that is true. Firstly, on the young people behavior, right? I remember when I was in school, a lot of all these fancy Starbucks and stuff. It's not even a thing back then, but it seems like everyone, including primary school students, can afford it nowadays. So the people are not getting richer actually; they just spend more. And this lesson is going to make them old wise men, right? One day to tell the tale. But that's what is going to happen for young, hopefully. Hopefully. And we, Peter.
Yeah, and before we end this whole session, any reminder or suggestions or very, a plug-in from you on how people should actually face it down the road?
Yeah, how to counter this?
Let's rewind this and give everyone a very brief suggestion or feedback.
Okay, brief suggestions to sum this up. Okay, so first and foremost, this MCO is not a holiday. This MCO is a preparation for war.
Mm-hmm.
And the war is not just against invisible forces. It's going to be really real. It's going to, like what Gwen said, it's really going to hit you if you're not prepared. These 4 weeks is time to really sit down, plan what is your career path or what businesses you want to start. Because nowadays we understand that whatever job that you are in is not secure, because even the business that you're working in might not survive. So what is your plan B moving forward? So after identifying what is your strengths, identifying what are the pathways that you want to choose, you want to start learning. For example, a lot of all this tech stuff is pretty new even for me, right? But then at one point at time, I realized that I've stopped like social media, not so active for 2 years. Then I realized, wow, yes. When we talk about communication, these are platforms of communication.
Mm-hmm.
If today you are not on LinkedIn, if today you are not on Instagram, while your mom is on Instagram, you're not communicating effectively. And this is not the time to lay low. And at this time, you need to stand out. You need to stand out, like really offer value, kind of stand out. Because for most people nowadays, the idea of standing out is how to post as models on IG or something, right? But really be sure about what is your positioning, what is your value offering. And now is the time for you to go for all this networking online for now, at least for 1 or 2 more months. Go and reach out to people, go and talk to people, go and DM people, because all these business owners, all these people you want to meet, they are all at home. Just like you and me, right? We are all at home. We are not going anywhere. We are free. We are free at 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. We are free because we want to, because we are forced to, right? Now is the time, man. After these 3 weeks or something, right? No one is going to have all this free time to talk to you, because we are all going to be like
survival mode.
A lot of work, a lot of backlog to do.
Yeah, so many things to follow up on. Yeah.
Yes. So reach out to people, talk to people. You must have a plan. You must have a battle plan. And thirdly, is really the time to upgrade yourself. Learn what you can. That is free online. Learn it. What you can't, make sure you set aside. Don't spend. Of course, do not go shopping. If you receive any aid or anything, don't go shopping. Don't buy new phones. Don't buy new clothes. Don't go clubbing. We don't have cash for all this, because you need the holding power to last for the next 1 or 2 years. A lot of uncertainties, right? And if you really have extra cash, perhaps you should even consider investing in the stock market when time is right. You can buy a lot of things cheap. Yeah.
I saw some people sharing some ads, because yesterday my boyfriend was going through Facebook, and then suddenly lots of ads about stock investing and stuff came out, and then this guy very pumped. He's like, "You must invest now!" And I swear he was shouting, like, "You must invest now when everything is booming. Now is the time." So, in your personal opinion, when is the right time for stock investment? Because recently I know the stock market up and down, especially AirAsia. And most people wants to go in for AirAsia and Genting. That is the 2 first things that investors for stock want to go in for. In my opinion, yes, can, but now is not the right time. What do you think, Terrence?
Good question.
I think a lot of people, when they are listening to whoever the speaker is, they always want to know about when is the right time, what is the right stocks, right? Well, there's no harm in asking these questions. But most importantly is that a lot of people who ask these questions, they have not learned the basics of it. Again, this is not gambling, right? This is not gambling. This is not. You have to educate yourself. At the end of the day, the only person that is going to be responsible for your decisions will be you, right? Just because I say this or this counter is good doesn't mean it's good for you. You don't know when I enter. You don't know when I exit. You cannot simply buy something, especially a sector that you know nothing about. If you don't know about why
Very true.
I mean, a lot of things, a lot of sectors I'm not familiar to, so I don't touch it. You see, one thing that Warren Buffett says is this circle of competence, right? I think now it's a time to complete ourselves. Like, what is it that I know? What is it that I'm good at? What is it that I don't know? What is it that I'm not good at? What kind of weaknesses that I can delegate or ignore? What kind of weaknesses that I can partner with someone? What kind of weaknesses that I should now educate myself in?
Cool.
I think self-audit.
Today, all of the things that we say is generally just our own point of view. People don't have to really take what we say, but I hope they do catch the right things to take from today's live session.
It's more like we are exchanging our thoughts and all that. And
I really need to socialize, that's why.
Socialize with each other, yes. And before we end this for real, let me have a short revisit of the points shared by Terrence. First, just now you mentioned, this time now is definitely not a holiday for all of you. Yeah. And the journey down the road will be a long and bumpy one. So you have to be mentally prepared for that. So the second thing is that you need to prepare and plan ahead instead of waiting for things to fall in place. Yeah, that's the second point. Then the other thing is like what Terrence shared just now. If you don't know about all this new technology, Zoom, StreamYard, social media, now is actually the time for you to learn how to use it. And at the same time, make yourself productive, reach out to people, start to figure out how to build your personal brand. This will be really helpful when you need more opportunities to help rebuild your life and your career. Yeah. And the other thing I like is what you said, invest in yourself, especially your skills. Now it's definitely a time to rethink your skill sets and how you are going to survive down the road, because it's definitely going to be challenging. And if you do not reassess your skill sets, when it's become obsolete, it will be very difficult for you to survive. Yeah. Okay.
Correct. And then coming back to our conversation today, the impact of coronavirus, I think it does impact everyone, and everyone from all walks of life, no matter which job that you are in or which field you are in, everyone is affected by this virus. And to recover, it's not going to be so soon. Economy needs some time to recover, like Terrence mentioned as well. So during these times, try to stay sane. You can do things like us. Come on StreamYard, speak to people, meet new people, work on yourself, like what Terrence said, and save some money if you can.
All right. So
anything else to add? Lastly, Terrence?
I think both of you sum up now all the ideas quite clearly. Most important takeaway from here is time for self-audit. It's time for preparation. It's time for transition. So, thank you, Peter. Thank you, Gwen.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope to see you soon.
After all this is over.
Sure.
Okay. Take care.
If you guys are ever in KL, please.
Take care.
So, okay. That's all we have for today.
Right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time.
A successful meeting with Terrence and Dr. Chua. If you guys like what you guys see, you guys can comment after this, share if you think it's useful. And if you guys like what you see, let us know, and we can do more videos like this, like live streams. Because Peter and I, we have all the time in the world to do it anyway.
Yes. So look forward to hear from all of you. Thank you for your time. Right.
Thank you.
Let's end it here.
Okay.
Right. Bye,
See you next
everyone.
time. Bye.